ventral sheath this week and start today, which is the front part of your body. Worked on the dorsal sheath, the back part of the body. We worked on the lateral sheath down the side, ribs and so forth. And the front line of the body, which includes the pec minors here across the collarbones, some of the abdominal muscles, including the psoas, which comes from the inner legs through the belly and helps to, or is aided by the posterior serratus right above the kidneys. You're going to put your hands there where you're getting situated into lift through a mild contraction there. All that helps. And for that matter, all the back extensors, all the muscles that draw the shoulders back, allow the front line of the body to open. But first, before we get too far into the mix, if you grab either a chair or go to a wall, and you can watch first, you have to turn your back to me, we'll do our famous or infamous wall crawl by lifting the heels up about 10 inches to a foot from the wall, and I lift my heels up and I reach my hands up and look at them, and then exhaling, coming down as if I were doing a plank pose with the palms pressing against the wall. Now, if you don't have a wall, you can use the top of a chair and just lift and then settle. Just start to get the feet activated. So that we can include them in this picture. Now, some of you can do what I'm doing. You don't even need a wall. You're just reaching up on your heels and then coming down. As you lift, you're using a chair, wall, or nothing at all. See if you can feel a gentle extension from the sides of the belly. Worked on Uddiyana Bandha. I'm going to tap my fingers into the side of the belly here and engage through the inner legs. And then sliding down. The next phase of this is, again, either a chair, wall, what have you, lifting up. And as you exhale the heels down, you're going to bend the knees and come into chair pose against the wall. Your fingertips can just be resting against the wall or floating. Peek at your knees and make sure you can sight your toes. Drawing the hips back, sinking the pelvis down. And then up you go, inhale. Lift the heels. Breathe way up into the upper rib cage, and then settle the heels down and take the elevator of the hips down, 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 letting the hands, the arms float, and anchoring your tailbone down to your heels. You go left, exhale, descend. As you do this slowly, as if you were doing Tai Chi, see if you can begin to sync or synchronize the breath a little bit more, or let it lead the inhale, lead you up the wall or reach into the sky, and the exhale leads you down. A couple more times, and we're just essentially warming up the legs, warming up the bandhas. And then you're going to go ahead and take a forward fold. So you can either go against the wall, as I've done in the past, or just bend your knees quite a bit, hang your head, maybe grab your opposite elbows, and release your spine for 5 to 10 breaths. You're just coming in, we're working on the ventral sheath. But after a lift, an extension, a back bend, if you will, so that was pretty mild, a forward fold is soon in order. Soon is in order. So take your last few breaths of forward fold. I'm just going to grab some water here. And then as you come up, bending your knees, slowly rising, go ahead and grab your block. Now, if you don't have a block, you can squish up a towel. And we're going to put you have the block, we're going to put a thin aspect somewhere between the hips and the knees. And we're going to just tone the outer legs and hug the block. Again, the diehards or the folks that don't need a wall can do the same exercise now, but now we've got this as we lift the heels and bring the arms up and then sink down to chair pose, this time spinning the palms toward one another to consolidate the scapula. Now we've got this additional aid, and that is to connect the legs. Most of us are asymmetrical, or we use our legs with some amount of favoritism, and the block can help remedy that. Again, you could be doing this, I'm just showing you off, but you could be doing your wall crawl up, gently squeezing the block, inner thighs, adductors, and then you sink down. This time you're karate chopping, where pinky fingers are pushing into the wall. So you can feel the whole aspect from the pinky, from the triceps, lats, down to the outer hips. And just work this up and down, timing it with your breath if you can. And we're just bringing a little bit of attenuation to the legs. Okay, then go ahead and release that block. Same thing, forward fold, hold elbows, bend knees. As you do this, remember the sensation of the block in the inner thighs. Take a look at your insides of your feet, the inner edges. Make sure they're not popping off the ground, so press your big toenails down. And then coming up with the knees bent, head rounded last. Let's grab our strap now. And we're going to take it around the back. If you don't have a strap, grab a towel. So if you just came out of the shower, we've done this many times. And you're grazing as I scrub my back body with the strap. You're grazing the area just below the shoulder blades. And the strap is going to come right up. Get a little closer so you can see it. Got it in my thumb, strap ends in my thumb and index finger. It's going to come right up into the armpit ribs. So as we lift up, it's going to lift up the scapula. And you're going to tone your legs, this time at the front of your mat, just as you did before. Extra credit, lift the heels. Exhale, heels come down, Ustrasana. And let the attenuation of the upper body, now the strap is a connected piece of the arms through the scapes. As you go up and down, inhale, straighten the legs, exhale, sink. Relax your jaw, your neck. Let the arms be more buoyant than muscular. So you don't have to yank into the strap. You just feel the lightest aspect, like an invisible cord. And then drop the strap down to the floor, as if you're going to play jump rope. Freddie's favorite thing. By the way, I'm wearing the Katuitt Rowing Club t-shirt in honor of the ladies there. And then we'll take our Tadasana with the strap just in front of the heel, so catching the back of the arch, penguin yourself, so to speak, so that you're gently pulling against the strap, trying to get tall, but the heels and the strap around the front of the heels is providing additional gravitational resistance. But if you lift through the smiling frontal armpits And feel, if you can, the mild contraction of the muscles behind the shoulders, all for the sake of opening the heart center. Again, don't overdo. All we're doing is getting connected to our body after a night of rest, hopefully. And then we're going to take that strap up the back again, as we did before. We're going to reach up high, inhale, maybe a little lift of the heels for good measure. Exhale, the heels go down. Putting on the bandha comes into play. Now we're going to just slide or step, left foot back, warrior one. In the strap is, when I first started investigating it, it's very exciting, but you don't want to yank the body into this severe back bend. All we're trying to do is extend and feel the connection of the arms and the roots of the shoulder blades below them. And you can straighten the front leg, inhale and exhale, sink into the front knee. Maybe the arms come a little further back, and straighten the front leg and then forward. Let me create a little bit of a motion in the arms, more of an extension as you contract the backs of the legs here. Both legs straighten, and then as you bend to the front knee, arms release forward. Feel the whole spine here, the lower spine, the upper spine. Then we step the feet together, drop the strap down, step on it. Simple stuff. And then penguin, pushing down through the heels, toning the legs. Relax the jaw as you just connect. What was the quote from Ian Forster? Only connect. And then stepping forward, strap is up the back. And lift, inhale, straight legs. Exhale, chair. Feel the drop in the pelvis. And how that dropping, if the arms stay buoyant, provides length in the waist and the spine. Slide right foot back with heel in. As big or small a stance as your body likes. And then breathe here. First in static. Feeling the points in the floor of the feet. Feeling the connection to the strap of the arms. And then straighten the front leg. Reach up and a little back like you're going to flirt with a back bend. Exhale, bend into that left knee. Like you're tossing a ball forward. Inhale, contract the back body. Open the front, and then exhale, again, like you're throwing a ball. Ah. The next time the arms come forward, step the back to the front. Again, you drop the strap back down to the heels, step on it. Each time you do this, maybe connecting, attenuating the body, but less radically. Less radically. We do one more time, and then folks that want to show off will get a variation. Grab up the back, inhale, lift. Tone the legs, draw the belly in just slightly. The tailbone lengthens, exhale, sink down. And again, I like the hands to come forward a little bit in the warriors and in the chair poses, rather than trying to yank back here, which tends to stress the low back. We step back with the left foot, warrior one. And again, you can straighten your front leg, inhale, reach back. Palms are facing one another, exhale forward. You can even lift the front toes, the right toes off the mat for extra credit, and then drop sole of the foot down. Now, if you want that extra credit, here it comes, bend into the front knee, lift the back heel, just lean forward. Or maybe pop up to warrior three. When you're done playing, left foot to right, stand on the strap. Breathe into the total vertical line of the body. So recently I've been really feeling in my own body the primacy, the importance of this vertical axis, as if there was a core of invisible light, what have you. It doesn't have to be that mysterious, but the vertical core in front of the spine, which you want to keep integrated. Now we lift up and we sit. Step the right foot back, warrior one, when you're feeling. Relax your throat, nod your head. Feel any shoulder tension, and if there's tension in the upper trapezius, roll the palms more skyward. Inhale, straighten front leg and reach back. And exhale like you're tossing a big beach ball forward. Feeling the support around the hips as you bend that front knee, left hip. And then maybe you challenge yourself. Lean forward or lift the back heel, come up to a warrior three. Step your feet together, drop your strap, step on it. If there's any imperfections or distress in the low back, then lengthen that tailbone as you press into the strap. Let's go ahead and step your right foot forward out of the strap, your left foot still in the strap. Done this before, and then we glide back to our warrior one again. The strap held in the hands, but still around the back foot and left foot. Warrior one with airplane arms assisted by the strap. Inhale, lift the chest, and then exhale. You can lean forward a little bit, but now you got the strap holding you. Tone the back leg, really reach back through the heel. Breathe. So now we're getting into the back extensors, the muscles that contract behind the shoulders. And we got our strap to help us. And we can lift the front leg, straighten it, inhale, and exhale, same as before. Folks with a advanced practice, of course, could do the same warrior three, or it's not so much warrior three as Tadasana airplane as I did before. Strap around the foot, but it might be a little early for in the day for some people. So we're going to take the strap now to come into a warrior two stance, both ends around, and hold them in the left hand. Still got that strap around the back leg. So if I were to lean forward, so we soon will on side angle, you've got a little holding point in the strap. Reach forward, that right arm inhale, and then exhale. You can take your side angle modification with the right forearm on the right knee, and you're still holding that strap. You're going to tone the back of that left leg, and just check out spiraling a bit to your left, tucking your left shoulder blade in. Inhale, straighten the front leg, and now we have Trikonasana with the strap assist. So the right arm comes up, inhale, exhale, same thing, I lean forward. So maybe if you're more of a beginner, you're just floating, held by the back strap, lengthening all the space into the right arm, but maybe you can dive down with the right hand and shin block ground and begin to rotate from the mid-back as we just did. To the left. Coming up, inhale. And we're going to turn the feet to parallel. And we'll remove the strap for the moment from our foot. I'm going to take it between the hands. Shoulder width or wider, as you inhale, you're going to sink down to bent knee goddess pose and bring the strap behind you. To exhale, you're going to straighten your legs and bring the strap back down in front of you. Bend and sink. The sinking of the pelvis, the hips. Gently lets the wide strapped arms open the chest. And just do, as you do these, monitor the arch in your lumbar spine, your low back. So if you were to hang out here and build strength, my tendency is to overarch my low back. So I'm going to engage my abdominals. Okay, then we can just release the strap and take a forward fold, hands to the mat, lift to a flat back and exhale, dive in. You can hold your ankles, you can walk your hands back. Walk your hands through. Feel a lengthening of the inner leg. Come out, hands under the shoulders, bend the knees a little bit. Inhale, flat back, exhale, one hand to one knee, the other hand to the other, and let that assist hands to knees bring you up. So heel your feet together. If you're feeling sprightly, jump your feet together. And then we're going to come to the front of the room again, on the front of the mat. Stand on the strap to the other side. As you attenuate your body, try not to let any one piece rule or over attenuate. The left foot steps forward out of the strap loop and the right foot slides it back, warrior one, with the Tadasana arms. You may need to hike your hands further up the strap. Inhale, lift the chest, use the breath, and then exhale, sink. Leaning forward. Inhale, straighten the front leg, exhale. Watch the tracking of the front knee. Yep. Those that want to take a little trip up into Tadasana, lift the right heel, you attenuate the back of the right leg. Okay, then we're going to spin our hips to the right. Take both strap ends in the right hand. Set up a warrior two. And reaching forward to the left palm, inhale. Exhale, drop down into the left forearm, side angle. Tethered and held by the strap ends in your right hand. Any pressure in that left hip, try to pull it into the midline. Inhale, come up, straighten the front leg, lift up left arm, triangle pose. Again, if you want to just lean forward enough to feel the body like a kite with the tether, the string to the back heel, that's fine. Otherwise, you can descend with your left hand to your shin or ground or block, and then squeeze a little bit the muscles of that right leg and rotate from the mid back as much as your neck allows. Some people have wonky necks, and you look down, and that's going to be better for your neck to lengthen through that right side of the neck. Okay, inhale coming up, left toes parallel to right. This time, instead of taking the strap in front of you in hands, stick it out from your foot and take it behind you. And how far apart are your hands? So you can go shoulder width, you go a little wider to try to open the chest by pulling against the strap a little bit. And that'll fire those extensors in the back of the shoulders. You have a little bend to your knees here, and then you're going to fold over and then let the strap And hands come overhead as well. Feel the pressure of the big toe mound to the outer heel. Steady your gaze on a particular point, releasing the head. Extra credit, flat back, inhale, and then bow and touch your forehead to your left shin. Inhale, flat back, pulling on the strap and touch your forehead or move it toward your right shin. Flat back to the middle, final dive in. You can release the strap down, let the hands support you, and see if that got you a little bit deeper into your Ustrasana. Flat back, hands under shoulders. Exhale, soften the knees, hands to one hip, the other hip, and lift up. And then turning to the front, step the feet together, and here we are. So now we'll go without the strap for a while, just to feel if we can integrate the prop into the body. So you should have all sorts of tactile information going on from that preliminary work. And as we flow through the same postures, now we don't have the strap, but hopefully we have the benefit of the strap. Arms by the sides, you don't pull on the strap anymore, but can you feel the attenuation nevertheless? As if you were standing on the strap. Inhale, the arms come up, feeling the scapula as if they have the strap around them, broadening, the palms spinning inward, keeping the loftiness of the other upper body as you sink the hips. Just a little, and then step your left foot back, warrior one. Imagine you're holding a big helium balloon between your hands, and it's lifting you up. So it's an action of tensegrity or unification rather than dissection. Let's pivot right over to warrior two. Let the arms descend a little, but they still have helium in them. Reverse your warrior inhale and side angle exhale as deep as you like. This time we throw the discus of the left arm right beside the left ear. Although, even though we're strapless, so to speak, can you feel that left heel as if it had a strap around it, opening right here through the left hip flexor. Inhale, reach up, straighten the front leg, set up for Trikonasana. Get an expansion. And then exhale. Right hand to ground, block, what have you. Now, if you've got a neck issue, you just take your gaze to the big toe. Otherwise, you start to spiral up. Look at that left thumb in all of its glory. Those that want a little side trip to half moon, left hand to hip, and the front knee, look forward. Place the right hand outside and forward of the right foot, and then lift the left leg up. When you're grounded, you can start to spiral to the left. And the front knee step back. Everybody come up. Ustrasana, so right toes parallel to left. Hands are going to stay on the hips this time. And you're going to dig into your lower belly, your transverse abdominals. Inhale, look up. Exhale, as we did last week, as if you had a belly bolster. Draw the belly into the spine where your fingers are digging. Lifting up to offer relief through the inner legs and the hip joints. Take your pose. So we'll add a piece, coming to flat back, or maybe some of you working on chair or block. And take your right hand to the floor, the block the chair, left hand to left hip. Square off. flat back, inhale, rotate left. Keep the hips even, keep the legs even, and then take a twist, left hand up. Maybe it wraps around the back. Switch hands, left hand on block floor, chair, flat back. Keep your length, keep your symmetry of your legs, rotate right. Right arm maybe comes up and maybe wraps behind the back. Stretching through that left groin, inner leg a bit, and then the hands come down. Dive into your pose. We're going to use the block from your head. Ustrasana. And then flat back, inhale, exhale, knees bend, hands in one knee or hip and the other, and you come up. And toe heel your feet together. And step to the front of the mat, left foot to right. So find attenuation in Tadasana. And you'll find if you release or relax a little bit, your muscles can take over with their memory of the prop. Inhale, the arms float up from the loftiness and the spreading of the shoulder blades. Exhale, keep the helium-like sensation of the upper ribs, the arms as you sink down into chair pose, scooping the belly in. Step your right foot back, warrior one. Open warrior two. And then reverse warrior inhale, side angle exhale. This time the right arm comes on the diagonal. And don't get too caught up in the arm without attenuating first right heel, the right leg. And that anchor, as we had experienced with the tethered strap, allows the growth, the extension of the right rib cage. Inhale, come up, straight the front leg, triangle pose. Arms float up as the hips energetically anchor down to the heels. Enjoy each movement toward the pose. And then Trikonasana, you can have a chair for your left hand, your shin. Anchor the legs, spread the feet apart, draw the belly in, and then the spine is inspired to lengthen and maybe rotate it up. Any neck issues, you look down. Inhale, you come up. Turn feet to parallel, Ustrasana. Now, if you need that strap, as we did earlier class, behind the back, to take it. Otherwise, most of you can interlace your fingers for the activation of the extensors and pull the fingers, interlace like tappy gently as you bend the elbows. And as before, watch the overarch of the low back. Bend the knees a little bit, like you're going to do the snow plow. Inhale, exhale. With bent knees, dive in and let the arms come overhead. If you're someone that might fall over, you're going to just take the hands to the floor. As before, you can inhale, flat back, exhale, bow to your left shin. Inhale, flat back, and then bow to your right shin. And the bound arms are aligned with attenuation. Finally, releasing the arms, flat back, inhale, and exhale, your deepest and final Ustrasana Compensating. Maybe the hands walk through. And then a flat back, bend the knees, one hand to one hip, the other hand, and you come up. So heel your feet together, and then you come to the front of the mat. Okay, so let's take a little intermission in either forward fold or malasana, just to make sure everything's going well with the low back. And you can sit in squat malasana, Put your heels on the towel roll. You can lay on your back and hold your knees into your body and take child's pose. So we're just making sure through opening rounds the low back is happy. Then we're all going to take a downward dog. And if you're near a wall, you're going to walk the back yourself into it, put your heels up the wall. Bend your knees, look forward to your hands, turn them outward like screwing two jars. And then straighten the legs, lift the arches of the feet. The heels are resting against the wall. And lengthen through the arms with the breath in the same way you did Uttasana. There should be a buoyancy to the arms, and then you're going to go ahead, bend your knees, come down and sit in Virasana. And use a block. You rest, sit on your shins. I'm going to stretch the ventral aspect of the shins and just let this posture do the work. Check out your toes. The little trick is to take your thumbs like a shiatsu specialist and press into the soles of the feet. There's some sweet spots behind the big toe and migrating across the base of all the toes. Just push into them. And it will help alleviate foot cramps if you're prone to those. So let me just show you as you're hanging out, the down dog against with the heels of the wall. And remember when we did chair pose, we were originally had a strap around the back, lifting the shoulder blades up. It's very buoyant, like you have a helium balloons floating up. So the trick is in down dog, not often attained, is that the arms have the same quality. So if I back into the wall with the knees bent, the heels come up the wall, and I lengthen through the arms as if I have the strap around the shoulder blades. I keep the knees bent. Just think about length through the arms. It's a lot of work, but really opens up and roots the arms down deep under the shoulder blades. You come to your knees and come to a high plank, build a little strength, and then drop down to hands and knees again. Sit back to Virasana again. A couple people in the group, Lee Steffi is one of them, can do Virasana, soup to Virasana until the cows come home. Others, it's just excruciating on the knees. In any case, I'm going to take my block and I'm going to just spin myself this way so you can see the block on the wood floor. And I open up the fascia under the armpits by saying my prayers. Knees a little closer together, elbows to block, or you can use two blocks. And then I walk the knees away, place the head inside the biceps. So with a narrow aspect of the elbows, or a distance not more than 6 inches, I can place the head like a massage table within the biceps, and I can walk and sink the hips back. I can then chop the arms forward, so the arms are long, keep sinking the hips back, and the palms roll together are keeping the shoulder blades broad across the back. You can draw your belly in just a bit to help your tailbone go further back toward the heels. Careful coming out, bend your elbows, and take your one hand, the other hand to the ground. One more thing, and that is, as we do another down dog, can you take your block as we did at the beginning of class between the inner legs, between the hips and the knees. And I'll get off my mat so you can see a little bit better all my dark colors. So I've got the block narrow, use a towel, squeezing the adductors. And if you do a little cat and cow work, as you exhale, look down and around, squeeze that block a little bit. It's gonna broaden around the low back, broaden the shoulder blades. And one thing to practice with the toes curled under now is just to lift the knees up an inch. Hover. And set the block down. Inhale, look forward, arch. Drawing the shoulder blade tips together. Exhale, squeeze the block, lift an inch. And you're strengthening your Mula Bandha. The area around the perineum, pelvic floor, which tends to get a little lax as some folks age. So this should be a daily practice. And then try to take that right into your downward dog, squeezing the block, lifting the knees, and then lifting them all the way up and back. So if you're sending the block through the inner thighs, back, sit bones broadening on inhale, and exhale, moving a little bit back together by squeezing the block. Palms pressing flat. Inhale, high plank, or just drop down to your knees and release. Okay, so I want to do a little side trip to either Supta Baddha Konasana or Supta Virasana. And I'm going to show Supta Baddha because most of you have more accessibility in that. And then I'll show Supta Virasana. Supta Baddha, you just slide your feet forward. You're going to get your soles of your feet together, as in Baddha Konasana, but then the block goes behind you to the shoulder blade tips and you walk back. I'm going to take my hands as a prop. And today I'm going to just hang out in the hammock with the hands like this. Oh, maybe the head will drop back to the floor and you can use a narrow aspect of the block or greater. I'm supporting my head. You're really just getting and digging into those back ribs. Get the support of your head and the lay back, drop back. Those that can do the Supta Vira, that's the same thing on your shins. And the only trick there is to roll the calves, and take my thumbs and roll the calves out the sides so that the knee creases can fold. And then I go back onto my block. And hold my hands and my head until it's adequately to the floor. So for some people, this is tough because it really stretches the psoas and the hip flexors. When you come out, be careful you don't jam your chin to your chest. And then we'll take a downward dog to restore, or child's pose to restore. Low back. Again, you can walk the feet up the walls we did earlier to lengthen the arms. And then we're going to come into a couple more back bends. So we're going to come onto our knees and shins. have a block handy. So, see if I can show this and all the permutations. The first one, if you have no props, use your thumbs to shoehorn or slide your top of your pelvis down. Knees about hip width apart, maybe wider if that gives you a little more latitude. And then you just start to lean back a bit. I like to take the hands to goalpost here and then clasp them behind the head. And then just take a mild form of Ustrasana. Yeah. The other way to do this, which is kind of enlightening, is to go to the wall with your block, and you're going to push the block or wedge it with your frontal hip bones. Push it into the wall. And that way, as you take the hands to the low back, you're lengthening the hip flexors by virtue of pressing into the wall. And then you start to lean back. You can even use the wall and just work on pushing the hips forward. Then if you want to take your hands into your skull and lean back. So this is a little harder for some of you because a lot of people, when they do Ustrasana camel, tend to not so much cheat, but they let the hips, if I gave you a side view, instead of pushing forward, as I get closer, instead of pushing forward with the hips, they let the hips descend. Okay, so that's another pose. So take that. This is a preliminary to Ustrasana. And I'll show you what you see a lot of people doing. Is that they just drop the hips back like that so they can get their hands to their heels. And then they try to resort or bring the hips forward. The only danger of that is that in the adjustment after dropping back, your low back may not like it. So what do? Well, you could take your block once again, and instead of placing it in the frontal hips, you squeeze it between the inner thighs again and work here. You don't have a wall. And I'm going to try to prevent the overarching of the low back here by keeping the block squeezed. So say you're not a backbender at all, what do? How about just taking your thumbs up to your lower ribs? Try to move with the thumbs, move the ribs from the spine out, kind of going around the circumference of the ribs, and I go up a little higher, lift, and just feel the support as if I had a strap around the rib cage. And I go as high up the back as I can. So in a way, I'm using the hands, and I'm going to step forward to the camera. That was confusing. In the same way we used the strap around the shoulder blades earlier. So I'm digging my thumbs into the lower ribs and rolling this fascia, this serratus, forward like that. As I lift and then lean back, I'm trying to lift up through here, instead of just going back and crushing the vertebra. So I'm trying to scrub up all the way to the armpits, every set of these ribs. And then it feels really good. So even if you're not a backbender, you can give yourself a back rub with your thumbs along the rib cage like that. That'll allow you to more deeply back bend. So let's come down. And start to close off with some compensating forward folds. Take our Tadasana with the strap around the feet, lay back like a water skier, holding the strap ends. Press the sit bones, the tailbone down. Relax the throat. And then you can release the strap, maybe grab the tops of the feet, maybe you need to bend the knees to do so. Sides of the feet. I've shown last week the chair where you've got forearms on a chair. Chair is resting over your legs. Then we take the counter pose, reverse table. So we're going to walk the feet under the knees, palms going out. And some of you weren't here last week. I'll just show again the migration or the counter movement of the shoulder blades, so that the shoulder blades pitch forward and broaden on exhale. Inhale, they roll together as the chest lifts, like so. And that's important as you come to reverse table. Just come closer. This is my come closer day. So I've got the hands on the sides and I roll and protract the shoulder blades broad. And then now remember all the work we did in class and what I just said about all these ribs lifting and spreading. So try to feel those. Don't just launch into a wooden pose. So you're here, you roll your shoulders forward in the wrong pattern to engage your deep core. Then bottom ribs, mid ribs, upper ribs, shoulder blades, hips, knees pull forward. If you drop your head, it's the last to come back up. Okay, let's go onto our backs. Have a block handy, but first just simple bridge. Inhale, palms to sky, shoulders roll back. The same thing. And you feel the ribs. As you slide your shoulder blades together, sure, lifting the hips. But what about everything below the shoulder blades? All these ribs. So I'm taking my thumbs and scrubbing them open. This is an extension. Exhale, come down, pull the knees into the body, and squeeze. Take a happy baby. If you can't grab your big toes with your feet wide, use your strap. And let the low back broaden and move forward. And roll from left to right. You can straddle your legs apart as we did standing earlier in class, Prasarita. And you just restore order to your low back. Everyone take a strap around the right foot now. Send it up to the sky and let the left leg be long. Hold the ends of the strap in both hands. And then move up through that right hip, through the knee into the foot. Grab the strap ends into the right hand. The left arm down, inhale, then open up the right leg out to the right. Spinning the toes down, the heel up. Lengthen through the inner leg. Contract through the outer leg. Even though the right hip is the one leg or presumably the highlight, don't let the left leg check out. Push down into the mat, and then bring that right leg back up to the sky. Switch hands on the strap ends. Left hand takes the straps, and the leg goes over to the left. Right leg goes to the left. Going to your point of no return, no further. Back up to the sky. And then we'll switch feet. Left foot in the strap, right leg long. Spend a breath or two just to engage from the left hip through the knee through the foot. Connect the leg to the deep core muscles. Relax the face. Then the strap ends into the left hand. Inhale. Keep pushing into the strap. Let the leg go out to the left. Toes down, heel up. Lengthen out the inside of that left hip. But don't check out through the right leg. Inhale to the top. Switch hands on the strap ends. Left leg is still up, but the right hand holds the strap ends as the left leg now travels over to the right a bit. Stretching the outer aspect of the leg, IT band, the outer hip. Working to your ability, not stressing your body excessively. Just creates a counter resistance. Back to the top, release. Shavasana. Give your legs a shake, give your arms a shake, your whole spine will shake. And allow the limbs to lay soft and easy on the mat. Maybe a towel on your head if you need it. Take a few breaths. Feeling the sense of gravity in the back fascia. And the front body, hopefully a little sunnier. I like to take my hands to my low belly and relax the muscles that guide into the legs. And I take the hands to the mid belly, lower ribs. Soften there. Of course, I take the hands to the heart center, just relax there and throat, muscles of the face, just a soft cueing the hands to give a signal to the front body to release into the deeper neural patterns, guarding the front body against stress, against annoyances that may frequent your day. And you can stay in your Shavasana a lot longer, bend your knees, roll off to the side. Come up to seated, finishing with a few minutes to spare. So take a moment in Sukhasana just to feel the alignment of the shoulders over the hips. Drop the spine down into the floor. And from that sanctuary ground, that sense of weightedness and connectivity, relax the belly, and then from that base, start to lighten in those points of the low belly, mid belly, heart center. Finish with the palms at the heart center and softening there. We bring the thumbs up to the eyebrows and the frontal brain.